Believe in the Chiefs again this year. Believe in the Chiefs again this year. You're going to be sorry if you keep using this narrative that Mahomes can't get back to the elite status he once held in fantasy football. A lot of people are going to say the same thing. You're going to hear it regurgitated. It's going to sound the exact same thing. You can smell it from a mile away. And it's going to go something like, Smitty, Mahomes hasn't been the same for 2 seasons. And you can go down that road if you want. But here's the thing that I don't understand about people in their ability to, assess the situation. If Mahomes was going in round 4, I'd understand. If Mahomes was going in round 5, I'd get it. But Mahomes is going in this 6 to 7 range in fantasy football drafts. So you're having to walk out of the room, close the door, take a deep breath, walk back in and look at the value. The value's different. It's a different player. Rashee Rice looks fantastic. Why do I believe in Mahomes? He looks fantastic. Mahomes is putting on weight, in shape. He's no longer lazy, out of shape Patrick Mahomes. He's bulking up for a big season. We got a very deceptive Omarion Hampton photo we got to address because people think he's this massive Hulk. And he's a big boy, but this photo we'll talk about in a second is a victim, I think, of some AI work, and some people need to know at least the truth. Then we got a whole bunch of, Purdy, Kittle news. Rashee Rice looks amazing. He's out there zipping around the field, looks 100%. The fantasy football show begins right now. Let the Mahomes haters hate. Let the Chiefs fans, the anti-Chief fans hate. I don't care. I really don't care. This is about picking and choosing your battles in fantasy football. This is about identifying the players other people will doubt. You can either get on board or not. I don't care. Fantasy football show begins right now. File. I'm in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
I don't take, no offense, Mike, you did this to yourself. I don't take Caleb over Mahomes. Don't look at my avatar. Yeah. Look, I get it. We're going to get probably some big pushback on this one. No, I'm not doing it. Won't trust him again. Not doing this again. But this man, Patrick Mahomes, is out there getting fit for the very first time. And he's hungry, and you can look at his face, and he's ready to rumble. He's getting rid of the dad bod. The belly's gone. He's out there lifting. He's working with conditioning coaches and trainers. And look at how ripped he is. He's never been this thin before. He's never been this hungry. He's out there just working on the cannon, doing some cannon work. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You can doubt him if you want. I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you day in and day out. This is not one of those players that I'm going to just beat a dead horse on all year long. I'll talk about it from time to time. But you're either in the camp where you say that this is value, 6 to 7 rounds, or you're that person that can't let go of the past. You're that person that got him in 4 or 5. You got burned by it because he didn't produce, because Rashee Rice went down. They had injuries galore. Kelsey fell off a little bit. I think that he could still have a decent year with the mix of Worthy, the new added rookie. This is a arsenal. This is an arsenal that Mahomes hasn't had. Mahomes is running a skeleton crew all year, and everybody wants to judge him for not getting his 4 to 5 round value. He's a 6th or 7th round pick. Either pick up what's being thrown down here or don't. I really am not going to spend a bunch of time on it. We'll talk about it throughout the offseason, but I mean, good Lord, he's a 6th or 7th round pick, and he's a top 5 capable quarterback. People can doubt him all they want. He's on a mission. And when you look at his face, he looks like somebody's taking it very personal. And that's the guy I want on my fantasy team, especially when drafting him allows me to get guys like Rashee Rice and build 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks around him because he costs nothing. He costs you a 6th and a 7th round pick. It's crazy. It's madness to even debate whether he's worth having. You don't like Mahomes, you doubt him a little bit, Draft Dak Prescott and Mahomes together. Draft a Penix Jr. together with Mahomes. Mahomes only costs you a 6th to 7th round pick. Why would you even debate it? And in best ball, you don't have to decide when to use him. He gets inserted into your lineup for you. So this madness. This guy, Rashee Rice, is out on the field. Let me show you some video footage of this kid running around the field like a maniac. Smitty, didn't he recover from an ACL tear? I keep hearing ACL. What are you guys looking at? Where are you watching your content? I told you don't venture far, because when you venture far, you come back with this garbage information. He didn't have an ACL tear. He had an LCL tear. LCL. He didn't have an inside his knee structural problem inside the middle of his knee. He had an LCL tear, which is on the outside. He looks 100%. He's running around like an absolute maniac. I'll put the video footage on screen and you can see for yourself. Here's the guy running around. Let me put it from the beginning because that first cut is just sick. All right, here we go. Ready? Boom. Look at this guy. He's out there doing footwork. 100%. There it is. There it is. 100%. Looking like the Rashee Rice we knew and loved and we're getting top 5 running back numbers out of when we were in the midst of the beginning of the fantasy football season. This guy was a top 5 wide receiver. We were right. We told you. Everybody else was wrong.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
I'm here for it. You're here for it. And we've got more news to get over. But Rice and Mahomes to the motherfreaking moon. Just absolute value this year. Best value I can think of in fantasy in round 6, 7. If you're not talking about Harvey still being there. By the way, the Harvey ADP updated. And he's now cemented into round 6 on Underdog. So the first 3 or 4 drafts I did, I got Harvey in the 7th and 8th round. In the 9th round in one draft. You'll never see that again. That's over. That's why you should have drafted last night on Underdog, because it's over now. It was a short window of time where nobody knew what the hell was going on. Why do I have this Mahomes graphic still here? Hold on. My system's freezing. Code Smitty will get it done. Underdog promo code Smitty. Here's the link right now. I'll drop it in the live chat. Here it is. We'll draft tonight. So if you want to draft with us, hit that link. You can get up to $1,000 in bonus credit in your account and a free pick. Make sure you hit that code that's in the link that I just dropped, or use code Smitty. So yeah, let me go over and grab this damn graphic. It's flying all over. It's flying over the screen like Rashee Rice. He's all over the place. He's all over the place. Okay, there's a bad AI photo job that tricked everybody. Even ESPN's posting it, where Omarion Hampton he looks like. It looks like first of all, there's a lot of enhancements to the photo, but this is an AI photo and it's going everywhere. And you read the comments and poor people are like, oh my God, I didn't realize he was that big. It's circling everywhere. But your boy's got some bad news. He's a big boy. There's nothing to take away, but we have to address this because it's getting way out of hand. Hampton is not even taller than Harbaugh. By several inches. He's much shorter than Harbaugh. Harbaugh's like 6'4", 6'5". And so this photo on the left is going viral. ESPN embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for him to have posted this. And they don't think this is fake. They're not just trying to be funny. This is them getting tricked by AI. But Hampton is not that big. Look, I'm 6'2", 220 pounds. Hampton's 6 foot, 200 pounds. We are the exact same weight, and I'm 2 inches taller than Hampton. This is not. If I walked up to Harbaugh, I'd be shorter than Harbaugh. So I just want to put that into perspective. That this man weighs no more than I do, and he's 2 inches shorter than I am. We're not trying to tear him down or anything, but this is going so viral that I have to address it because I don't want people drafting him thinking they're getting Derrick Henry. He's not Derrick Henry. He's a good size back. Bucky's under 5'10", and he's 190, 185, 90 pounds. He looked like a tiny little peon next to me. Like, that doesn't, I'm not trying to tear him down and say 6 foot 220 is not great. It's fantastic, but he is no bigger. He is smaller than I am. I just want to, this would not be me standing next to Harbaugh. This is absolute AI job that tricked the whole world. It's embarrassing. We've got more news to get to here. J.K. Dobbins, this is bad news, though. It may be, maybe not. This could be for a pick that they're trying to get. But Chargers have placed the UFA tender on running back J.K. Dobbins. This was a couple hours ago. So the intention here is probably to draw a pick. But if they don't, I mean, there's a real possibility J.K. Dobbins is on the roster, and that leads to more complications. You know, so I'm not saying he takes the job from Hampton, but this is a player that could be in some sort of rotation. But we'll have to see. More on that to come. Pickens was going to be traded, may still get traded. The likelihood and odds of him getting traded have gone down. Your boy said that this would probably be in the cards. I couldn't guarantee that a team wanted him. That's not up to me. I don't make those decisions. George Pickens is a locker room problem. He's a locker room distraction. And he's a head case, and I don't think anybody wanted to deal with it. There was reportedly a Dallas Cowboy interest that has went away since the NFL draft, because I think most teams, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, that have a player like this, they want now draft capital. Now, I think that this could still get messy if he wants to potentially, I don't know, cause a stink and become a problem in the locker room. If he does that, then the Steelers would be more apt to get rid of him for future draft value, and not so much, dig in and say we're doing it or we're not doing it based on getting the 2025 now draft capital that they could have used to replace him. So it's not done yet, but it does feel like the Cowboys were in the mix. It felt like that the draft capital was too much, I believe, to ask for the Dallas Cowboys, and a deal never got done, or a contract couldn't get negotiated behind the scenes, and Pickens would messed up his own bed. If you don't have a deal in place with the team acquiring you, the deal won't go through. If you don't pass your physical, there's a lot of things that people don't realize. It's not like somebody just picks up the phone like the Steelers and go, "Hey, Dallas," and Jerry goes, "Yep, I got up on the right side of the bed today," and then they say, "We'll give you a third rounder, second rounder, whatever, a third rounder that becomes a second rounder if we make the playoffs and win 2 playoff games," and then you have Jerry go, "Okay, do it, done, boom." It literally is, hey, George Pickens' agent, he's got to agree to this deal or we're not going to make the trade. It's complicated. And if anybody threw a wrench in their own plan, it probably is George Pickens. Now, again, right now, it doesn't appear like he's going to be traded, but he might have a problem with this. And then we might see some sort of issue arise, but we'll see. Jack Besh, LA Vegas Review Journal, reports that they believe he's a strong candidate to immediately start for the Raiders, as he should. The Raider wide receiver room is thinned out pretty much to the point where it would be shocking if Besh didn't start. He's a good best ball player in fantasy. He's going really late. We're talking about like your wide receiver 5-6 in best ball. That won't last forever, but it's like 140, I think, 140 overall pick, 130 to 140 overall pick. This is a great wide receiver 4 or 5 to have in best ball. So go grab him in best ball underdog before it's too late. There's good values and there's bad values. There's players getting overhyped that are still good values. This guy's getting overhyped because you have 2 or 3 people that come into a live chat and they go, "Besh is the best wide receiver. You are too low on him." And they're loud people. And so you look at the rankings and you think Smitty must not like Besh. It's not the case at all. But the reality of the situation is the real world, aside from these very loud people that are, this is what I say, there's a cultic value to certain players. There's a cultic following to Waddle. There's a cultic following to Deontay Johnson, or there used to be. There's a cultic following to Besh. There's a cultic following to Tesla, this wide receiver in Detroit, who is going undrafted. He's going undrafted. You don't have to draft Tesla. He doesn't even have an ADP within the confines of 18 rounds. So the loud people screaming, "Oh, you're too low on Tesla in your rankings," no one else is drafting him. No one else cares. I'm not saying there isn't hidden value. And Tesla's a good cuff to St. Brown. You're in best ball, take Tesla with St. Brown. This is an example of when I get back into this game after I'm tearing down to size someone's weird take where they're so loud and people start hearing it, seeing it. The cultic following behind Tesla and Besh is out of control. It doesn't match the real world. What the real world is where I like him. I like Besh. I'll take Besh all day long in the 140s, 150s as my wide receiver 5, 6, 7 when I'm planning heavy RB and quarterback and tight end, and I'm leaving my wide receiver room just kind of marinating for a while. And I circle back around. But how people are so off on this stuff. He's not going anywhere but in the 140s, and that's great. Stop trying to pretend he's better than he is or in a better situation. Enjoy what he is. He's a good upside player that probably helps your fantasy team in the 140s and 150s because if he steps up, he goes big. But the fact that some people are trying to argue they want to draft him as their wide receiver 3 now, you're crapping the bed, you're putting the cart before the horse, and you're losing out on value. Tesla's the only reason you should draft Tesla is if you've got St. Brown or JMO. And if you cuff them and one goes down, Tesla gets work for 3 or 4 games. It makes sense, but it's a cuff. It's a wide receiver, a rarity, a rare wide receiver cuff. Seahawks coach Mike McDonald said Sam Darnold will take over 90% of the snaps. Before people get too crazy about this for Milroe, this isn't that, uncommon place where you have a coach want to get reps to a backup. Penix Jr. took a lot of reps, more than normal because Kirk Cousins was still recovering, but it's just one of those things where Milroe's got to learn the offense and stuff like that. But I do think that my prediction is going to be, I'm almost tempted to put it on the board, that Darnold is going to be, or that Milroe's going to start by week 10. But somebody else might take that because, if they want to take that prediction, they can, or up it, whatever. But Milroe probably starts by week 10, and I think the Seahawks never look back. It kind of feels like a Penix Jr. thing, but they'll pull the trigger earlier. I don't hate Darnold. I don't know that I believe in him still. And I'll eat crow later if I'm wrong. Cleveland plain dealer reports that Shedeur will have to outperform the other 3 quarterbacks on the roster to make the Browns. This is disrespectful. This is dumb. This is more of the same. I'm embarrassed for the NFL. I'm embarrassed for the teams. I'm embarrassed for the Browns who took this guy after Gabriel, who I wouldn't have even drafted at the very last pick in the draft. And Gabriel has no ability to play in the NFL. And this team is just embarrassing themselves. They took him when they took him at low draft capital, so now he's expendable. Now he's got to make the team. See, when people said the Browns were smart to take him late, they weren't smart to take him late because now there's this narrative that he's got to make the team. He's the best quarterback on the roster. I hope he doesn't make the team. I hope he doesn't make the team. I hope a team that regrets falling victim to the noise and the pressure of letting him fall because he lives in a complicated world that none of us can understand. None of you, not me, nobody knows what it's like to live in the shadow of Deion Sanders and have Deion be your only coach. And you could say that's a negative and that's why he won't succeed, Smitty. But this is a kid that's trying to break away from his father, who's had his thumb on him his entire life. And he hasn't even had a moment of daylight because his dad's coached him all the way up to this point. His dad has forced himself into his life and into the negotiation role. And even Shiloh, who said, our dad was our agent, that didn't work out too well, so we're going to go a different way. Shiloh got a new agent, signed immediately. Drew Rosenhaus signed him immediately. If Shedeur used an agent, he would have been drafted higher. And that's just the way the world works. It doesn't mean there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on. It's not one thing or another. It's not that he's such an arrogant kid, no one wants to deal with him. Keep in mind, what is a situation that smells awfully similar to this, but in a very different context? And listen to what I'm saying. There's people are going to go, this is a totally different situation than what you're. I know it's got similarities, but Lamar Jackson didn't have an agent. Lamar Jackson struggled to get things done when he was franchise tagged with the 2 first-round tender, and not a single team would deal with him. He didn't have an agent. When you try and go this solo route, this cowboy route, for some reason you get blackballed in the NFL, and they don't want to deal with you. And I don't know how teams don't step aside this and go, we need a quarterback. Who cares what everybody else is doing? I'm not locking arms on this. I'm going to go get myself a quarterback. This is the very, very, very same thing. In that context, for those that are listening to what I'm saying. So, if Lamar had an agent, I'd believe he wouldn't be a Baltimore Raven. If Lamar had an agent and didn't use his mama, he would have been, and this is on Lamar. Lamar shouldn't have done it. I mean, Lamar got the deal he wanted. But Lamar, you can have a team overpay to pay for the agent. You could literally get your agent and say, you know what? Let's package that in. I'm not signing a contract that isn't exactly what I would have got by myself. Up it, pay for yourself. You could easily do. A team would say, you know what? Screw it. Give me an agent. I'll overpay to have an agent so this is smoother. People are really wild to think that Lamar did a good thing by himself. He didn't. He didn't. He could have got the same amount of money with an agent that he took home in pocket. So, look, Shador screwed up in a lot of ways. There's even some rumors that he kind of half-assed it in some interviews on purpose to not go to certain teams. I believe it. I think he made some huge mistakes. I still think the NFL is embarrassing. I still think the teams that didn't overlook the situation and say, you know what, I can fix this. I can get through to this kid. He was instructed by his dad, probably under the force of, if you don't get drafted and do what I say, you're out on the streets, pal. This guy's been living off his dad in some ways. You know, the expensive life that they all live under the Deion Sanders umbrella. There's a lot more to this than you think. And I hope the Browns let him go. And he gets to go to a team that says, you know what? We don't have to be the team that drafted him, but let's be the team that fixes him. And let's bring him in. Now, I hope he does rise in Cleveland if he stays. He should. I really think he's the best quarterback on the roster. But to literally have this out there, now the Browns didn't say this, but this is the thought that he's got to make the team. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And I don't know what else to tell you. I think it's just an embarrassing situation. And I wouldn't want to be a team or a GM or an owner that's involved in that kind of situation, because it is flat out embarrassing. We got Beck out of the way. We got Shador out of the way. We've got this right here, which is the highest paid tight ends in the league. George Kittle now 19.1. McBride 19. I just don't get the Niners. I don't get the Niners. You don't even have to spend this amount of money on Kittle. He deserves to get a raise. I get it. He deserves this. He deserves that. That's not how you build a franchise. That's not how you build a franchise. There's no deserving or, this is why McCaffrey got what McCaffrey got last year, because he deserved it. Was that the right way to spend money? No, it was not. Do you pay somebody because they earned it? No, you pay somebody because they're going to earn it. So just because Kittle has been the best, you don't give him whatever he wants. That's what I keep hearing from Niner fans. You just give him whatever he wants. He's Kittle. He deserves it. That's not business. You would be awful at managing the money and the coffers for a team if your answer is he's already earned it, give it to him. He is an older player that has played a massive amount of seasons. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 NFL seasons. Very aggressive to his body. You gave him a 4-year deal. You basically said, let's make this a 12-year career. You're giving him $40 million guaranteed. He didn't need to go this route. You didn't need to make him $19.1 million per year. Make him the top tight end paid in football. He's older. He's going to break down. This smells an awful lot like what I said about McCaffrey last year. Remember all the people that come in and say, Smitty, you're wrong. McCaffrey's got 3 to 4 years left. You're wrong. He's not going to get hurt. The Niners paid McCaffrey. They overpaid him. They made him this highest paid running back at the time. And then what happened? Completely fell off the face of the earth. Ayuk wants to get $30 million a year. He wants to be paid like a top 5 wide receiver. Okay, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Okay, let's do that. How did that work out? Kittle. Now Brock Purdy's next. So Kittle, they already spent it. It is what it is. It's done. George Kittle signed a massive contract, which I have over here somewhere. I've already gone live on this, so you don't necessarily need the information. But Kittle signed wherever it is. He signed a $70+ million deal that has $40+ million guaranteed. It's a 4-year deal. But now the news and all of the information is circling over to Brock Purdy. It's circling over to Brock Purdy. Now we're talking Brock. Wherever the hell my damn graphics went. I might have accidentally deleted them, or they're buried somewhere. I'll put this one back up on screen here. This coming from Up and Adams on her podcast, where she's talking to Patrick Peterson. And she said, is Brock Purdy a $50 million a year guy? And Peterson said, honestly, no. And I agree with that. I think the Niners, they overpaid on Kittle. They overpaid on Ayuk. They paid CMC when they shouldn't have. This is a team that's supposed to be being smart with their money. We got to dial back and build right. Let's let all of our veterans go. Let's let half the defense go. What are we doing? What are we doing? Brock Purdy, $50 million a year? Ayuk, $30 million a year. CMC, when he's at the end of his career, make him the highest paid running back at the time. And now George Kittle, when he's got maybe 1 or 2 elite years left, if you're lucky too, the drop-off age for a tight end is 32. That is the kiss of death year. He turns 32 this season. Ziggy, how old is George Kittle?
George Kittle is 31 years old and was born
October.
in 1993.
October. Turns 32. I'm not saying he doesn't have this year. He's 31 before the season starts. So let's give Kittle the respect Kittle deserves, okay? He's 31 now. He has 1 more elite year. 32, you have to start holding your breath. Doesn't mean he doesn't have 2. Doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means you shouldn't be paying him and making him the highest paid mother freaking tight end in football. Not a very smart move. Then you've got this right here. This is from my boy Raj. Go follow him. The next goal for the Niners, we know this. It was already reported this morning, but I just want to put this up here for reference. The next goal is to get a deal done with Brock Purdy. Contract is expected to be $50 million per year once finalized. 50 to 51, 52 million, probably going to be 50 even. $50 million per year. A lot of it's going to come down to guaranteed money. Unbelievable, reckless abandon for spending. It's just insane. It's the Niners don't know how to build. Adam Peters being gone, it's been a disaster ever since. Sean Payton says there are so many things about his game that remind me of Mike Thomas. And remember, this former Saints coach knows a little bit about that. And he's talking about Pat Bryant, the wide receiver that they drafted, the rookie. He's someone to keep an eye on. He's definitely going to be on the sleeper wide receiver rankings. And I got a video coming out that's going to be like deep sleeper guys. It'll talk about the Teslas. It'll talk about the Io Minors, the potential Restrepo, type players, the running backs that maybe don't normally get drafted that we like a lot. There's going to be a lot of players on this list. The Bears have a nice young rookie. There's a lot of players that are going to make this list. So get ready for that deep rookie dive video, because it's going to have amazing names on it that are players to watch. And one of those guys I have on here is this it right here. That's not it. RJ Harvey, by the way. Broncos GM spoke about RJ Harvey, saying he can keep going upward as a receiver. That's old news, but I wanted to bring that up again real quickly for anybody that's missed the last handful of shows or anything. Harvey to the moon. Harvey, we were drafting on Underdog, promo code Smitty. Link is being dropped in the live chat right now if you want to draft with us tonight on Underdog. Best Ball Mania is back, baby. Hit this link right here and enter code Smitty for you, and it could earn you up to 1,000 in bonus credit. So hit the link, do it live, get ready now, sign up. But Harvey, when the Best Ball Mania dropped, and they dropped the puppy, they dropped the Best Ball Mania, Harvey's ADP, because they inserted the previous ADP from the previous contest in right away, or did some sort of combination of things, Harvey had like an 80 to 90 or 100 overall ADP. So there's a lot of people that were wise to that, and they waited and they tried not to ruin it, right? But as soon as people started finding him and drafting him, it's updated. Since the ADP's updated, he's now a 6th round staple. So the party's over in terms of getting Harvey, past round 6, but expect to have to pay mid 6 to you get to the late 6, he's gone. So Harvey's no longer reaching anywhere near round 7, but he's so worth a 6th round pick. You're winning a league off of that value. Mason Taylor will be the Jets starter right away, according to many reporters. Just guesses and guesstimations. Here's the Brock Purdy news. I did find it after all. It's right there. George Kittle. Here's the George Kittle contract. I did finally find it. It's right here. Here's the details on his deal. It is $40 million guaranteed, $76.4 million contract, 4-year deal. Just crazy to pay somebody. Here's the yesterday's news of MHJ bulking up. Freaking monster. MHJ bulking up, Mahomes bulking up. Bounce back seasons for the boys in red. Bounce back seasons for this Arizona Cardinal MHJ monster sophomore wide receiver. Bounce back season for Patrick Mahomes as he gets Rashee Rice and the boys back. Harbaugh plans to use his 1-2 punch of Hampton and Najee, so be careful of that. And then, of course, the J.K. Dobbins news today doesn't help matters. We pretty much got all this covered. I think this is all older news. Go watch the previous shows if you want to catch up on that stuff. But that is all the news for today. We're going to open up the phone lines. Kittle, Mahomes, Hampton, we talked about that. Rashee Rice, I think we got it all covered. The phone lines will be open, so dial on in. Kyrie, Boston, you are allowed to dial in if you're going to be calm. I decided I was going to let you call in again and give you one more chance, but he was irate the last time he called, just would not stop. And so I had to put an end to it. But I have a heart, and I know Kyrie Boston loves this show, so I opened up the line to Kyrie again. If he prefers to call in, if he prefers not to, that's fine too. You have the 1.4 rookie draft. Would you ideally like running back? Of course, but it all is just flow, bro. Based on need, flow. I don't like Judkins at all at 4. I think I don't even like, he's not even my 5th ranked running back, let alone you mix in the wide receivers. Go watch my rookie running back post-draft show, and you'll see why. You'll hear why. I'm not on the Judkins train that much. I like him, but I think people are way overvaluing him. Dial into the show. Do it live.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
What's up, Rock Out? You're live. Yeah, God, good thing you said that, bro. I don't think I've put anybody on the revenge tour. Let me see if I can find it. Breece Hall's the only one we've added. You're right. Let's put him on. I mean, great suggestion, Rock Out. I hadn't even thought about this board for a little while. But Rice is prime candidate for revenge. Hall is going to revenge on everybody. Everybody that's doubting Breece Hall right now at his newfound ADP, at his very low risk, super high reward ADP. I love it. I'm here for it. Like, you can doubt Breece Hall all you want. I think let's put Mahomes on here. We'll do more. We'll attack this a little bit more as we go, but Mahomes and Rice definitely are revenge tour candidates. I think 2 of the best. And the thing is, the people that complain about them, if you really listen to what they're saying, they say things that are like, they're weird. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get burned by him again. Like, as if you're taking him in the same spot. It's just regurgitated. I can tell you exactly how someone's going to frame it. I can guarantee that in the comments of this video later, someone's just going to see the graphic, not watch the show, and type, I'm never falling for that one again, or I'm not. It's just the same thing over and over. No one's falling for anything again. It's a completely different situation. You're buying Mahomes in the 6th to 7th rounds, just like when you're getting Breece Hall in freaking round 3, almost 4, because of the committee talk. That's not the same as last year taking him in the top 15. So people need to understand, this is where the going out of the door, closing the door, and then coming back in the room with a fresh mindset is vital to these types of situations. Okay, and like this, Ilfil says Breece and then take Harvey a few rounds later. Bro, there's so many amazing ways to look at Harvey. And I told you guys that it would not last long on Underdog, that it would be a very, very short amount of time that you could get, where you could get Hampton in 3, Harvey in 4, Henderson in 5. Henderson's even going sometimes in 4, but I've seen these guys both go in redraft like in the 5 and 6 range. Right now you can get Harvey in 6, Henderson in 5-4, Hampton in 3-4. It just really depends where you're drafting. But right now Harvey is a 6th round pick. I can't guarantee you're going to get him at 6.5. I definitely can say you're probably not getting him at 6.8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But he's cemented in the 6.1 to 6.5 right now. I cannot promise that stays. Imagine getting this right here. Imagine getting Hampton in 3, Hendy in 5, Harvey in 6. And if Hendy has to go 4, so be it. Like, you've got this is an amazing team. You could get 2 RBs here, or 2 wide receivers here back to back. You could go Jamar Chase and take a Bowers or McBride, and then go wide receiver shopping for Debo or DK here in 5. I mean, I'm winning a championship. Let me go back over here. This is where we're really cooking it up. This is kind of where, okay, so Harvey's not right now a 4th rounder. In Dynasty, we'll talk about that later, but Debo is going to go probably, even if we had to do it this way, or DK instead of Debo if you don't like Debo. This is a team. This is how you win a championship if you want to go heavy rookie running back shopping. I love it. Travis, you're live. Maybe not. Okay, so let me I probably have to restart everything. Let me go with the speaker today. 1 second. Give me a second, boys. I got Gump calling in. Let me see. All right, Gump, hang tight real quickly. Mute yourself real quickly if you wouldn't mind. Travis, go ahead and talk. Yeah, let me go ahead and fix the audio real quick. Hold on. So we're gonna go with the good old. All right, talk now.
Can they hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you now. Okay, go ahead, Travis.
I think Mahomes should get back to being the top 5 QB.
Absolutely.
Great depth now. People even forget, Worthy, Rice, drafted Royals, Kelsey Gray, Hollywood's back too. He's back for the playoffs, so he's good to go. So there's, you have the depth.
Yeah. People are just gonna hate. Like, number one, you gotta keep in mind that a majority of the Patrick Mahomes haters are like, those are the people making a lot of noise. And then in addition to that, you have the people that drafted Mahomes that loved him last year and he burned them. Like, if something, the reason the Royals pick is so intriguing, it's not because he can blow up as a rookie in a crowded room. It's that if something happens again, they're not stuck in the same exact spot they were last year. Because Royals is so intriguing, he could be as good as, I don't want to say as good as Worthy last year, but he could, I really think he's a good player, and they really like him, and I think he's going to be electric in this situation if he's shoved into the lineup. They're protected. They have so many weapons. It's super deep. Mahomes has never looked better. He's fit. He got rid of the dad bod, and he's not out there smiling. He's out there punishing himself. It's like he's whipping his back and saying, I will never lose again. And he's taking it so personal. And I really believe the bulking up is going to be huge. I think that Rice looking nearly 100% already, and people thinking he's got an ACL tear. He didn't. He had an LCL tear. It's a very different injury. The injury to the interior part of the knee is so much more devastating, because when you tear your ACL, not only are you causing damage and swelling and trauma in the middle of the knee, you're also having to damage the knee, drill into the bone, and put in a new ACL, have it heal, which it starts off as a tendon that dies and turns into a ligament, and that takes time. And at the end of the day, he has just an outside injury. You have your LCL and your MCL. These are on the outside of the knee. There's no internal damage. This is not the same thing as an ACL. It is 10 times better than an ACL injury. Very, very easy to come back from. The MCL is worse than the LCL, because the MCL, that can cause you pain for years. I tore my MCL, LCL, ACL, and you don't tear your LCL and MCL in half. It's very rare to do that. You just stretch it to a certain degree of a tear that requires surgery, and then they tighten it back up. It's basically, it gets like stretched out, but you don't tear or snap your ACL or your MCL or your LCL. Your ACL you snap in half like a rubber band, but the LCL doesn't have the long-term pain that the MCL has. The MCL, I tore my MCL with my ACL, meniscus, and LCL back in early 2000s, and it's still painful when it gets cold. Like, it starts aching. So he has the easiest of the 3 major ligament injuries, and he already looks 100%. This is not a stability issue. This is not a ripping the graft out in the ACL, in the joint and pulling the graft out. Like, the worries I have for Stephon Diggs being too active at 5 months, because the graft takes 6 months to solidify and hold. and he's out there before 5 months is even halfway through, cutting like a madman, looking great. Like Diggs looks fantastic, but he's out there way too early. I really fear he's gonna have a re-injury or tear something else. But if he gets through it, and he's on the field the week 2, 3, 4 go by, he's probably good. But I'm just really worried about that. But there's no risk of that with Rice because it's an exterior. It's on the outside of the knee. I love Mahomes. The doubters are really coming from a place of they hate Mahomes and the Chiefs, or they got burned last year and they don't realize that the cost of entry is like 500 times better. I mean, you don't love him. Draft May, draft Kyler, draft somebody with him, draft Dak Prescott, and then just feel it out. But Mahomes at 6'7" wins you a league with the arsenal of weapons that he has at his disposal, as Travis just said. This is the best amount of weapons he's ever had. I know Tyreek Hill was good, and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill in their prime was good, but you could make a strong case that Kelsey's still good enough, that good enough Kelsey with Worthy, with Rice, with Royals, with Hollywood, that this might, and with Brashard Smith, who's one of the best pass-catching backs because he was a receiver convert, this might be the best arsenal of weaponry. And then they added to the offensive line, selecting at the very last pick in the NFL draft, selecting maybe the number one overall offensive lineman in the league, in Josh Simmons. This was maybe the best pick in the first round outside of the big, huge, Genty move, Hunter move. Like, this was a steal. The Chiefs got richer here. Everyone, when this pick went through, everybody goes, the Chiefs get richer. The rich get richer. How in the hell did the league allow Josh Simmons to fall to 32? This is a top 15 overall player. Go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
Yeah, I see it in chat tonight. I see it all the time. People that say, Mahomes has been average at best, or he's been bad.
It's just repeat.
Years. Like, the problem is not Mahomes. He's a good quarterback. Like, a great quarterback. It's what's around him. And then calls that are being made, play calls that are being put in because of what's around. Like, think about, he can pick apart a defense, but a big part of his game, think back to when they had Kelsey in his prime and Hill, was being able to hit you deep in time.
Yep.
Because of that, he can pick you apart on the underneath stuff, and they haven't had that where a guy can go deep. They have that plus a bunch more.
Yeah, and just to just to remind people, like Dante says, remember when he threw 50 TD? Look, Mahomes, I don't care if he hasn't done it in a while. Tom Brady had a stint where he was so amazing fantasy wise, and then he was average, and then he got. They're up and down seasons for guys like Mahomes, but this 6th, 7th round ADP is reckless and ridiculous. I don't know what their offensive line rank is going to be yet. I'm going to go through all that now that the draft is over. But I venture to say it'd still be top 5 for me. They are, not only is the Josh Simmons pick amazing, but Andy Reid coaching these guys up is also going to be a factor here. But keep in mind that he's been QB 1, 8, 3, 4, 1. And these past 2 down years, you're getting your cost of entry back with a 6th to 7th round ADP if he ends up just being 7, 8, or 9. Like you got to understand that. You're not losing a league off Mahomes playing like QB 8. But if he goes back to this, you're talking about a 2-year, very explainable situation why he's playing at this level. And everything about his situation right now with Worthy, Rice looking the way. What if Rice never got hurt? Can those that hate Mahomes sit here for a second and say, what do you think would happen if Rice didn't get hurt? Can the Mahomes haters just think about that for a second? If Rice didn't get hurt, he was looking like a top 5 wide receiver. Does anybody think we might have got even in a kind of a struggle bus year for whatever reason, top 5 quarterback numbers out of Mahomes? Are people that off on this situation that they can't even see straight? This is going to be great value at 6 to 7. You can get behind it or not. Again, I don't really care. It's one of those things where, like, I'm not going to waste because there's so much pushback, and it's like exhausting seeing the same argument thrown back every day. If I have this conversation every day, that this will be one of those things that I definitely am going to push it. There's going to be another video. There'll probably be another 2 or 3 videos before the season starts. But this might be one of those situations where if someone even called in, let's say tonight, and says, I just don't think Mahomes is going to, I'm just going to be like, good for you, and move on. This is one of those things that's exhausting to explain to people, because they say the same thing that the other people are saying. They say the same thing that they're hearing, and they also say the same thing that has nothing to do with this current ADP. Like talking about Breece Hall being too risky. He can't be a top 5 running back. You're not taking him in the top 5. And yes, he still can. But you're not taking him in the top 5. You're taking Breece Hall in the 3rd, almost 4th round. You can't say things like, yeah, I don't know, it's too risky. I don't think he can be a top. He's not risky at all. Breece Hall is the cheapest running back 1 you can find. And if he doesn't play like a running back 1, guess what? He earns you his draft pick capital. 100%. Unless he gets hurt, which you can't predict, and there's no reason to think he will. If Rice stayed healthy, Mahomes is a top 5 fantasy quarterback. So, think what you want. Gump has been very patient. Let me go to Gump real quickly. Gump, go ahead. By the way, you can tell your best friend, Kyrie Boston, that I unblocked his number temporarily depending on how he behaves.
All right, yeah.
I'm sure he's been in your ear saying how mad he is that he got blocked on the phone line. I'm sure he's told you all about it.
I tried to explain it to him. I said, well, they don't understand how you look at it.
I don't even want to talk. I don't want to talk about his ridiculous take, but he definitely can call it if he walks on eggshells.
Okay. Well, anyway, is Breece Hall, is he injured or something? Is he injured?
Yeah, Gump, he was abducted by aliens about 2-3 weeks ago. We don't know if he's ever going to return.
I like that. I like that pick. Somebody let me have him.
Yeah.
My big question is, Kincaid and Travis. I mean, and Redskins tight end.
Zach Ertz?
My question is the tight. The tight end, the rankings. Is
Gump, spit it out, bro.
Travis going to be good? Is he going to be good? Is Kincaid finally going to get a big year? The big dog.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me take over from here. Gump, let me take over from here because you control yourself and contain your thoughts. Kincaid is somebody that I would not recommend you bank on at all. And it's not so much about him. I think he got screwed. I think he got screwed in the same way that Amari Cooper got screwed, in the same way that Keon Coleman got screwed. I mean, is there a pattern here? Like, you tell me, like, we're rooting for the Buffalo Bills to get one of these wide receivers in the NFL draft, and then sometimes I catch myself saying, am I a moron? Am I an absolute moron? What would make me want the top-ranked wide receiver to land in Buffalo? We've seen them ruin Kincaid. We've seen them ruin Keon Coleman. We've seen them ruin Amari Cooper, who I think still has at least like a decent year left. This is a situation that does not produce anymore right now, at least, an elite, consistent player. I'm not saying they can't get back to it. I'm not saying they don't figure it out, but right now it's like you can't count on anybody. Shakir, I mean, you can overpay for Shakir if you want. I'm not gonna. I'm drafting Josh Allen all day long because that's part of why he's the entire offense. I'm staying away from James Cook, who's holding out right now and wants to be paid like the biggest, running back and toughest and strongest and fastest running back in the league. He's not going to get that, but he still wants to get paid an amount of money that I don't believe the Buffalo Bills want to pay him. And I like Ray Davis. Ray Davis and Josh Allen. And that you're talking to a Bills fan, okay? You're talking to a Bills fan. This is the only man I'm going to draft along with Ray Davis. That's it. I'm not drafting Cook. I'm not drafting anybody. I'm a realist, and I'm also very objective. Kincaid is tough to count on. Do I hope that they know how to use him? Do I hope that he finally gets tapped into? Do I hope he finally gets unlocked? Sure. But I'm not banking on it at all. I do believe, there's a reason to take Coleman. I should say, if Coleman's free, I definitely would take Coleman. But would I bet my life that they know how to use Coleman and they unlock him right? No, I will not. I will not do that. But as far as other tight ends, Gump, I mean, I think you're asking me to identify some sleepers. I mean, number one, first and foremost, we love Bowers and McBride. I think McBride could be the number one tight end this year. Bowers could be the number one tight end. Anybody that thinks that one can't outscore the other is off the rocker. Off the rocker. You think McBride can't be the number one, or you think Bowers can't be the number one? You are literally screaming bias, because there's situations that there's so many things you could say pros and cons, and they're both elite, top-notch players, upper echelon, tier break, and then another tier break, and then another tier break, and then another player can be entered into the equation. I'm a big Laporta bounce back guy. You want a sleeper, give me Evan Ingram, who's going to play and share kind of that Joker role with Harvey in Denver. I really like the idea of getting like Kyle Pitts with a player later, even though I will not trust Kyle Pitts all by himself. I think Kraft is a very crafty tight end play. I think you're looking at Isaiah Likely as a very crafty tight end play. Jonnu Smith gets no respect and still goes in like round 7 and 8, which is crazy. Tyler Warren's exciting. I don't like Loveland a lot this year as a rookie. I think, I mean, I could go on and on. Ertz is pretty solid right now at the value. Kelsey at the cost of entry is pretty solid. The tight end position's very deep, bro. All right, hang tight, Gump. Mute yourself. Let me go on over to Rock Out again. Rock Out, what else you got?
Yeah, if the 49ers have a money budget problem or trying to play too much being friendly and being buddy deal with their players, like, oh, we're good friends. It's a business.
Maggie from accounting. You remember when Maggie from accounting ended up messing up on the rounding error, and the NFL took away a draft pick from the Niners? I think Maggie's up to her old tricks again. And they're like, you know, when somebody calls their money guy on Instagram, like when the influencers call their money guy on, they do it on the phone in front of everybody so they can flash. And like Shanahan calls up Maggie, can we afford 50 mil? And Maggie opens up the book, looks at it. It looks good to me. I'll just carry the one. Okay, we're going to give Brock 50. We already gave 30 to Ayuk. We already gave CMC a whole boatload, making him the highest paid retroactive. We just basically, he retired, and we're just going to give him a check for 4 years. Now Kittle's next. He's got maybe 1 or 2 years left. Let's pay him for 4. I mean, the Niners are in trouble. What does the cap look like for them in 2026 and 2027? I don't even want to look.
What's the negative, but probably.
Going to be insane. I mean, the cap does go up.
Things are.
I don't know. It's weird. All right, Travis, what else you got? Phones are open, guys.
Past performance of everybody.
Yeah.
One of the Cardinals sins, don't pay for the past performance. Keeping guys that are 30 years old.
It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, and paying Ayuk, they didn't even want Ayuk. There's a report. There are several reports that suggested that Shanahan was done with Ayuk and they just went ahead. They regretted doing it. And if Ayuk didn't get injured, like, I mean, obviously if he didn't get injured, he might have played better. Like, who knows? But if he wasn't injured and you were incapable of cutting him, they would have cut him. You can't cut an injured player. But if they could have cut him, they would have. Like, to save all the future money, just take the bath now. But they're pretty much like, this feels to me how, you know how Debo wanted out of San Francisco? The fan base ran Debo out. And they're so bad to Debo. The fan base is such, it's shameful how they treat Debo and how they treated him during his holdout. Debo wasn't even that diva-like about it. The Niners got impatient. They're like, look at this guy posting on Instagram that he's out having dinner. You know, or if he did go to an event or a club to promote something, they just make fun of him. Look at him out. He's not even taking it seriously. Like, Debo got trashed, man, by the fan base. And it never got repaired. And Debo's always felt out of place in San Francisco since the fan base and him had an issue. Like, he didn't trust his own fan base anymore. It was very, very sad to see. And I love that Debo's got a fresh, start over in Washington. You could tell he's hungry. You can tell he's dropping weight. You can tell he's motivated. Debo's going to have a fire season, and that's why he's a moon man, I think.
The moon man.
Yeah, moon man.
Dropping loads in outer space.
And he's a 6th, 7th round value. 6th, 7th round value. Very excited about Debo this year. Rejuvenated. But the feeling, what I'm trying to get at, is the feeling that we had about Debo in San Francisco, where we're like, he doesn't want to be there. You know, he's not motivated. He's out of shape. He doesn't look like it looks like he could wither away there. If he stayed in San Francisco, I think Debo would bust this year. That's how important situation, mindset, health, all that is, being in shape. I think that Ayuk is like the inverse of that situation. It's not the fan base, but the negativity that he's going to feel in the locker room, that he's going to feel by the coaching staff. He's too egotistical and cocky and arrogant, and you can see it all over his, his social media posts, posting things like he's the best ever. Like, he posts these weird posts that indicate and insinuate that he's like this, guy that's already proved it. Like, his game's amazing. Like, watch out, he's come. Like, you got so much to prove, young man. Like, he's gonna feel very, very neglected, unappreciated, unmotivated, in the same ways Debo was, but by way of team. Because does anybody think that Ayuk, once he's even able to come back, which he won't be ready for the beginning of the season, Ayuk might come back mid-season, October? I mean, who knows when he actually gets healthy? He could have setbacks. When Ayuk comes back, who thinks he's taking over a starting job? Is he the wide receiver 3? Yeah, is he the wide receiver 4?
Fourth in the order.
I mean, fourth in the order with
Kittle.
Yeah, but is he the wide receiver 3? Probably. You think he's taking the job of Ricky Pearsall or Jawan Jennings, who will be working hard all year building rapport? This guy comes in and he's the wide receiver 3. So Ayuk, I don't touch Ayuk in fantasy. I didn't. Last year, I wanted nothing to do with him. We knew that an injury would happen. You could say it was a freak injury, Smitty, but I don't care. I'm 1-for-1 with my Ayuk injury prediction. And anybody that thinks that I'm not, go look at the film. He held out. He got hurt. Yeah, it was a knee injury, but he was lagging, dragging, and not speedy all over the field. He's putting himself in vulnerable positions because he couldn't get out of them. So, yeah, maybe he did get injured because he wasn't fully where he needed to be mentally, and he leaves himself in a bad spot. You can say whatever you want. All I can tell you is I predicted him to get hurt because he held out and because he wasn't there mentally, and he got hurt. And now he'll never return to form. Ayuk is a disaster. Ayuk is a disaster. Lucas is right. Ayuk is a gold mine if you want to lose in fantasy. He's a surefire way. If you got him in Dynasty, you better get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Figure it out. No one should own him. You know who you should own instead? This man, Rashee Rice, who's out there looking like a superhero, cutting left and right. Does that look like a guy you're worried about his LCL? Okay, not an ACL. He didn't have an interior knee injury of any kind. He is very, very easy to recover from LCL injury. There was some hamstring damage, but obviously nothing that didn't, heal well before his knee injury. Sometimes when you have like an extra damage to the hamstring, it's concerning, but it's only concerning if that doesn't just absolutely heal on its own well before you're even testing the knee injury. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you his hamstring issue was completely gone before he even got to cutting hard on it. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, this is a guy that's out there looking like a marvel. Anyway. Gump, what else you got? Oh, yeah, Gump, hang tight. Let me get these super chats out of the way. I'm so sorry, guys. Jeez. Maximum, Andy, Navage, Thomas, Matt, Bryson, and BBQ. You guys all here? I'm sorry I didn't get to these yet. Would you even be having this discussion on Mahomes if Rice didn't get hurt? No, we wouldn't. He'd be top 5, and everybody is just... It is what it is. It's going to be a value that a lot of people are going to take advantage of. The reason I can say that very confidently is there's going to be no upswing for Mahomes, not significant anyway, unless there's some sort of like preseason bomb, or some reporters posting, back-to-back practice is where Mahomes, is so ripped he stiff arms somebody that he shouldn't and throws a missile to like Rashee Rice. Then the next practice throws a missile to Worthy. And then somebody comes out like Reed or somebody on the team or even a DB on the team that just says, hey, in practice, I can tell you right now, Mahomes is throwing for 50 touchdowns. Like something like that could trigger an uptick, but there are so many just Kansas City Chief haters baked into populations of 12 people. Like you bring 12 people together in a league, 4 or 5 of them will hate Mahomes just to hate him, just like they hated Brady. Just rip on him left and right. I hate him. He's bad. He's garbage. He's mid. And so that's going to naturally hold his ADP. He can't climb. He can climb maybe to like 5.5, the top of 6, but he's in 6 to 7 right now, and it's not moving. If Rice didn't get hurt, the issue with Mahomes last year is you had to draft him early, and the value is only returned in the playoffs. Enjoy the ADP discount this year. Yes, attaboy, BBQ, $20 hauler monster. Appreciate you dropping that.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Then we got this one here by our boy McFarland. You still here, McFarland? McFarland says, Superflex 10-team dynasty. Should I trade 1.6 and a late 26 first for the 1.2? Yes. No, here's the thing. If you could get Harvey at 6 and you guarantee that, but that's if you draft really early and you still might not land it. So if I could get Harvey, I stay. I take Harvey. I'd be very excited. But if you don't think you're getting Harvey, I mean Harvey or Henderson. What?
He says he's at the 1.1 as well, and he's looking to draft Genty and Hunter.
This is so tough. This is where I was saying earlier that I can get this wrong because I believe that Harvey has no business at 1.6. But the truth of the matter is I let myself influence what I think the rest of the world is thinking. Like it has to be, right? Because again, with rookie ADP, the reason I'm wrong on rookie ADP is because there is no good rookie ADP. You'll never see it. There'll never be any good. In retrospect, maybe we'll have it, obviously. But your draft will come too quick to get a consistent grip of ADP on rookie drafts because even if you took 100 drafts and you had an example, your league might be completely different. It's like IDP in a way. IDP, ADP doesn't really help because so much depends on scoring, so much depends on roster. With rookies, I overthink where people are going to be intelligent within a rookie draft. I overthink it. Even within my own community, and I don't mean that the way that it sounded, but JD5 fell to 2.1 in a Dynasty Follower League draft last year, where I traded into the 2.1 because I had a sense that JD5 was falling, and I think I got into it like 2 picks before, and JD5 fell. It was a 1 QB, but I got JD5 at 2.1 in my own community type draft. So I can't tell you that at 1.6 you won't live to regret this trade when Harvey's sitting there. So
what if you take it in context he says here, where he's looking to take Genty and Hunter? So that tells me in his league he believes he has to get the 1.2 to get Hunter. Would you want those two? Or do you think he's better off to just stay at the 1.6 and take you falling there rather than...
If Hunter is your main goal, just draft him at 2. Don't mess around. Hunter's not going to last the 6, I don't think. The hype is like, how people weren't even ranking. Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good to break down that way. I think that remember when I put Hunter on the Supernova list in the Moon Man list. Remember when I said that these Mickey Mouse creators that don't have the balls to rank Hunter before they understand what time it is with him. Willie Gilly, like they just don't want to be held accountable. Like here's my rookie receiver rankings. Where's Hunter? Oh, I'll come back and rank him if it's safe. When the coast is clear, I'll come back and rank Travis Hunter. And we said no. Put him on the table, young man. If you're not first, you're last. Scared money don't make money. Hunter is going to be the number 1 rookie wide receiver. And now everybody and their mothers ranking Hunter in the top 2, 3, 4 overall. and Dynasty Startup ADP, preemptive ranking shows. And I just don't think you're going to see him fall to 6, let alone 4 on the regular. So if your objective, Travis is right. If you have the 1 and you're taking Genty, and your objective is Hunter, take him 2. Don't play any of these games. Who cares about the future first rounder? What if it's 12? So I don't. You don't know what it's gonna be.
Late.
Yeah. What if it's 12? Then it's 2.1. What good's that? To not, and then you miss Hunter and you're losing sleep at night. You're like, why'd I do it, Ma? Ma, Meatloaf. Why'd I do it, Ma? And you're gonna be so depressed in the basement, McFarland, and you'll never forgive yourself because you wanted to save a buck. You wanted a 2.1 practically. That's what your future first rounder might be. You wanted to save a buck and you got kicked right in the sack. Superflex Dynasty PPR 0.5 tight end premium Harvey for the 7, the 10, and the 26th third. 7 and the 10. So this is a Dynasty startup draft. I mean, I take Harvey and I run, bro. 26th third rounder rookie pick, I could care less about. That kicks rocks to me. The 7th and the 10th rounder? That means you're on the clock in round 6 and Harvey's still there or whatever. That's what I'm taking from this. Take Harvey and run. Take Harvey and run, bro. Run for the hills. That's the easiest question I've probably ever been asked in my life. All right, not really, but took Harvey at the 4.4 today in my draft. I know it was a reach. It was a reach ball. You could have got him around 5 with ease. That's what I'm saying. This is ball. It's things like this that can make you not win that big money because you ended up taking, the unnecessary risk. Can you mute yourself, Klein, in the background, please? Okay, so yeah, this right here, 4.4. There's no need for that. That's crazy. I'm not saying he won't earn that. If his ADP climbs to 4, I'll gladly pay it. But you're literally buying a $300,000 house that is appraising for $200,000 because it will be worth $500,000 someday. You can't just throw money away. I know his early reach, but I didn't think he would last till the end of the 5th round, where my next pick was, and I didn't really like much of the range. I guess what I'd say is this, so Ball. If this is the only reach you made, I always say you can give yourself a mulligan or a forgiveness, blessing in your draft if you make one reach and you return to normal drafting. One reach you can get away with, especially if you're like at the turn picks, like the 11 or 12, and you take somebody at the turn. So you go down round 1, you go down round 2, you come back to 3-4. If you take someone at the 3-4 turn that really belongs like a round and a half down, it's not a big deal. You can recover from 1. So even though I'm yelling at you here, I'm mainly trying to make sure everybody stays on track to get value, or value's able to get had 99.99% of the time and not leave meat on the bone. But at the end of the day, Vol, you probably have an amazing team. Post your team and we'll look at it. You probably did good. 12-team Superflex Dynasty Startup got RJ Harvey at the 6.4. See what I mean? You know what I'm saying? This is a dynasty, my boy. And, and for anybody that says, well, dynasties can be ranked higher, I don't know about that because he's 24 years old and that's scaring the piss out of dynasty owners. I get a comment about 500 times a day. I don't, just so you know, you don't waste your time. I don't answer DMs. I answer comments on my channel. So if you want to hear from me, comment on my YouTube videos, and I try and get through about 50 to 70% of the comments every day. And that's how you're going to get a response from me. You DM me, how is that helping me? I spend hours of my day responding to people one-on-one where the answer doesn't help a majority of people. The people I'm going to help is their questions public, my answers public, and 15, 20, 30, 100,000 people get benefits from reading your comment. That helps my engagement, my channel, and everything. So I'm putting my work in on that. But I sometimes look through, because I'm looking for a lot of things in my DMs. Sometimes, there's people, reaching out for sponsorships, things like that. So I'm looking through and I can read like the first sentence of a lot of things. And it's like, aren't you worried about Harvey's age? Smitty, did you know Harvey's 24? Hey, Smitty, did you know Harvey's 24? Smitty, you're not thinking Harvey's 24. Like, how many people think I'm a moron? Like, I haven't been doing this since they were sharding in their diapers. I understand what time it is. I understand he's 24 years old. I love the Dynasty Worlds are panicking on his age of 24. I love it. I love it. It's not ideal, but I don't care. And it adds a significant amount of value and cost of entry benefit that far outweighs the concern I have 5-6 years from now. I'll take Harvey for 5 good years and worry about that later. And what if he's the guy that plays well at 31, 32? You know, there are occasional exceptions. Wild to me. What, Travis?
Where you control how you're building your roster. So if you're building a team to win, you take Harvey and if he's great for 3 years, that's a winning pick anyway.
And I don't know. And Andy, you know,
too far in the future.
Andy, you know, I love you, pal. But you said is that a reach, or do you think it was for the right value? Feels like a reach. Why do I feel like a reach, man? That could be a top 7 to 10 running back this year. You did good. Don't consider it a reach. Navage, is everybody in here that's super chatted? I got Bryson, Matt, and Thomas next. Navage, Dynasty, rank Hill, Burden, Monty, and Pickens. I guess in Dynasty, I'd probably go Pickens, Burden, Monty, Hill. And I don't even know that I feel like good about that. It's a wild one. Bryson, go ahead, Travis. What? That's a tough one.
No, I have to say tough because like you almost have to put Pickens and Burden first.
Yeah. Because I mean, I could go Monty ahead of Burden and make Monty the number 2 if I needed running back play and I could win now. You know, like I'd even trade second rounders for Monty, second rounders for Debo, second rounders for Adams. You know, multiple second rounders for Adams, multiple second rounders for Debo. I don't care. If I could win now, those are amazing pieces for my Dynasty team, and you could get more like another year out of them than you think. Dynasty Superflex, how much to give for Genty? Your arm, your leg, your first and third born son. Kyrian and JT also got an offer. Sent my Burrow, JT, Bucky, London for... God, this is huge. Wait, what? This has got to be a Superflex. Okay, yeah, Superflex. Okay, so you sent my Burrow, JT, Bucky, London for Mahomes, Rice, and Goddard, 1.3, 1.11. Trying to digest this is like, it's giving me a heartburn. Okay, I think I'm not... Yeah, I think there's no way I'm doing this. Yeah, look, first of all, 1.3 in Bucky... You could call that a wash just to make this simplified, okay? And so Mahomes and Rice versus Burrow, JT, London. No, this is one of the worst trades you could possibly make. If this offer came to you, you send this.
You are offer sex. You are trade offer sex.
Now, as far as the other part of this question, let me put the other question back on screen. Kyron and JT, you're asking me, like, should you trade Kyron and JT for Genty? I mean, I don't think that's going to win you a league, so I think you got to get something back. But do I think that Genty's miles ahead of JT and Kyron individually? Yeah. So would I want more, though? Because you're giving up, like, you can win with this team. You know, you could... You don't need to make this trade and then not have a competitive team, and you have Genty. Good for you. You know, amazing player, obviously, but like you can win with this team. So I think you need something back. You'd have to give me some scenarios, Bryson. But at the end of the day, like if that's your
1 point, what if still like if it's the 1.01 is Genty? If that's how he's talking, what if you got the 2.01 with
2.4? 2 point. Wait, say it again.
I'm guessing Genty is the 1.01. He's talking about different draft picks in there as well. Like they haven't drafted yet.
I don't know.
If that's the case, would you do Kyron and JT for Genty 0.01?
No. I mean, not in his situation because he can win the league. You know, it's fun to own Genty and everything, but like, you know, I don't think it's smart for him to get rid of JT and Kyron,
yeah,
and not win the league. Although, you know, I mean, if he gets something back, then, and I like it, I guess. So it's 2.1. You know what? Maybe I would. Yeah, you know what? I would. Get the 2.1, I'd do it. Genty in the 2.1, if that's what he's saying. You know why? Because, again, who's there at 2.1? Probably somebody way better than I think. What if you get Scatterboo? Would I take Scatterboo and Genty over Kyron and JT's? Home run. Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, absolutely home run, Smitty.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Yeah. Okay. Just had to digest it for a second. Do we prefer Worthy or Rice? Woo! Let's go around the phone line on this one. This is a great question. Let me get these other ones out of the way real quick. So, Matt, your question is going to be the question of the hour. Let's see here. We got Thomas. Thomas says Fab out of 200 for Pat Bryant and Ewers. Even in Superflex, I mean, we're talking a couple bucks for Ewers. Yeah, he's a backup. Pat Bryant, I don't know. I'm not sure I'd even put myself in a position that I don't have a full wad to drop on somebody if need be. Like, you throw 10 on Pat Bryant, now you can't outbid if you can get some extra fab, or you're trending higher than everybody else in fab dollars because you made some fab dollar trades and included fab in a trade, then I could throw a couple, like 5, 6, 7, 10 bucks on it. I mean, I could. I would just rather have a full load ready to do a full load drop if something goes crazy. And I even make sure I trade for a couple extra bucks so you're the top dog in terms of fab bucks. And then BBQ with a $10 holler says, haven't done any drafts. What are you seeing so far? That Harvey was going around 8, 9, 10 for about a few hours, and now he's in round 6. Hunter's going a lot higher than I expected, sometimes 5, 6, which we cleaned up all offseason, getting him in like 9 and 10. People just don't know what they're doing. That's why you draft early. Who cares about injuries? Who cares about things you don't know about? The advantages far outweigh the negatives when you're drafting early, and we know what time it is, and we grab Hunter in 9 and 10 all offseason. John, I'm sorry, John, I'll come right for you right now on the phone line. Just come back and I'll dial back in, and I'll go right over to you. I'd say Mahomes falling, Kyron and Breece Hall falling. I think Cam Scatterboo's still a steal. Charbonnet's still a steal. I mean, there's so many things, BBQ. Watch a draft show tonight. Watch, even if you got to watch a replay. Thank you for the $10 holler. And I'll identify, and I'll even do an ADP show. I'll do that. You can watch tonight too, but tomorrow I'll do an ADP show, or we do an ADP show tonight right before the draft. Maybe that's better. I'll go through the ADP. I'll comb through the ADP before the draft, and I'll tell you what's sticking out like a sore thumb. Let me go over to Travis on this one, then over to Gump, and then over to Rockout, and then I was going to go over to Matt, or whoever the caller was that just hung up. Call back, and I'll ask you this question, and then you can ask me your question. Travis, what do you think here? Rice or Worthy?
Just tough. Yes. At first glance, I'll say Rice. Next game fast.
Yeah.
Just because of how Rice.
But Smitty, he could get a 6 to 18,000 game suspension. It's probably 1 or 2 games if it even happens. And I don't think he escapes it, but he could. And I don't know that he's for sure going to get suspended this year. We haven't heard anything about it. It could be October before we really even get a word, and they could go, it's being pushed, and everyone's going to be shocked that it's getting pushed back again. He looks phenomenal. I'm going to say Rice. I want both of them. I've drafted both of them with Mahomes in a few drafts. It's kind of hard to get the ADPs to line up. You have to have the right spot. Very, very unique draft selection, like draft slot. I forget what slot it even is, but there's one spot. I think maybe the middle or slightly past the middle of let's say round 1 is the pick you get, like so 7 or 8. I forget where it was, but there's a certain draft territory.
EP is 38, 41 right now.
Probably. It's let me look it up, but I freaking love Rashee Rice. Rice is such a top 5 potential player. 25 season. This will be best ball, essentially. The ADPs for Rashee Rice and Worthy are very reasonable. 37 and 37. They're both tied at 37. But that's reasonable to me because in best ball, okay, so let me put this in context. It's reasonable because it tells me where their non-best ball ADP is. Actually, let me go to the board here. This will be easier. And go over to this right here. So Rice is probably going. So they're both going just outside of round number 3 in best ball. So Rice is going to be, let me put him on screen here. Rice is going to go at the top of 4. Worthy's going to go kind of at the top of 4. But this is best ball. So I guess I could answer this 2 ways. Is this kind of a tough thing to get now? Yeah, I was getting it earlier. Earlier I could get one of them in 4. But again, it was like a very tough spot. You had to be in the right draft slot. Somebody had to slip for it to happen. So it probably was the top of 4. You had to get Worthy or Rice. And I bet you, I forget which one was falling. Now they're both going in the same spot. Going to be tough to do in best ball. I don't think this is like the best value, I guess, on planet Earth. But in a wide receiver hungry best ball environment, this is higher than it would be in a non-best ball home league, your redraft league, your work league. I think that you could almost see one of them fall here and one of them go here, and you can do this in non-best ball still. Now, I don't know which one. They're both tied, so it just depends on preference. But I think Rice, people will be scared of Rice in your grandma leagues. Your work league is going to be like, you're getting suspended, right? And so he might, but put him right here. I think you can pull this off in your work league. I think you can do it. I think it'd be doable. Rice is my answer, Matt, but it's a tough call. I mean, Worthy played like a top 5 wide receiver at the end of the year. What?
Go for Rockout. Who would go for Rockout, please?
Who does Rockout think? Rockout?
Yeah, Rockout and Gump, I'm curious.
Oh, yeah.
Who they like.
Rockout, what do you think? Worthy or Rice?
I would go with Rice. I just see the potential. He was on the verge of being a top 5, and I think that can get revamped in the coming year.
I mean, the argument, though, is that Worthy was playing top 5 as well at the end of the year for like 5 games. So, like, it is a tough one. Gump, you like Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy?
I like Rice. You know I like to cook some rice.
Okay.
Oh, there.
Thank you, Gump. Good way to decide. Gump picks players based on jersey colors.
But listen to me. This year, you're right about Debo, man. He's a sneaky pick, man. I could never get my hands on Debo. This year, I think I got him.
You hate the Commander. You hate the Commanders, though. I'm surprised you're thinking logically, Kazoo.
No, but during fantasy, when my draft goes down, I'll be grabbing Debo. You know I will.
Okay. All right.
Good
call, Gump.
I like Debo.
Rare Gump W. Rare Gump W.
Is, I know, but this is what I really want. I want some Kincaid. Kincaid.
Okay, well, I got good news for you. You can get him in every single draft at a.
Show up and shut up.
Okay.
And that's what Kincaid.
All right, mute yourself real quick, Gump.
Show up and...
Gotcha. Mute yourself real quick, Gump. Okay, go ahead. You got another.
Really?
Go ahead. You got.
Another big question I got is Kelsey working out with Mahomes?
No, Gump. I don't think they know each other. Of course, they're working out together.
Not friends, but they're besties. But is he working hard like Mahomes?
Yep, he's working hard. He actually got to work right away as soon as they lost. He was back in the saddle. He was throwing medicine balls around. There's footage of it.
He just Kelsey kind of kicked that girl to the curb and went to work?
No. He's not kicking her to the curb, but he's definitely, working. So, all right, hang tight, Gump. Mute yourself real quickly. Let me get to the super chat. 12-team super flex, start 11, PPR, IDP, Genty, or Hunter at the 1.1. This is, again, going to come down to your IDP scoring. You have to confirm with your commissioner or figure out a way to test your scoring or whatever, because you can do that sometimes on certain platforms. But make sure that Hunter's scoring offensive points for you in IDP. Like, if you are getting that, you should be able to look at a projection and see where he's scoring. Like, if you go into your league settings projections, does Hunter project to be like the number 1 overall player? What's your IDP scoring telling you? If it's not an advantage to have Hunter based on your scoring, your commissioner takes that ability away, or league management software decides to make some wide sweeping crybaby move like the Taysom Hill that can't be tight end eligible anymore. If softwares, the league management platforms go in and they fix this problem for everybody, then that's going to be very, very controversial in my mind. But you just got to look at your I can't answer this question for you unless Hunter's screaming IDP is going to break your league. But I have a feeling we're going to run into some roadblocks for this, and it's not going to end up happening. I have the 2.1 as well with Mahomes, Herbert, Bijan, Rashee Rice, MHJ, Waddle, Jacoby. I'm taking Genty. The only reason you would even consider it is if you find out that he's breaking your IDP league. That's it. If you don't have that answer, then Genty is the call. Appreciate you dropping fire in the super chat, my boy. Okay, phone line's open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Here, I'm here. Here. Hello?
Yeah? Oh, good, Gump, you're there. We were worried you were gone.
No, I did it. I just want you to be on top of your freaking game. I'm going to do a
thank you
impersonation of you at some point. I'm going to impersonate you as though I'm on the show, but then I'm going to talk as though I'm you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I would be honored. Did you want to do this now, or you? Or...
I got you. No, I don't want to do it just yet.
Okay.
I'm going to practice. I'm going to get my little.
Okay. Okay, go back on mute.
We're going to love it. But
okay,
the whole thing, listen, the whole thing is, serious thing is, my big thing when I do the draft, I've been thinking about it, is I got to nail that tight end, the sleeper.
Pause.
I got to nail that quarterback. Huh?
Okay, Gump, just,
what?
I'll come back for you, Gump. Mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Right.
Limit the damage.
Right.
Rock out. What else you got? Any final thoughts or questions, my boy?
Yeah, how you think the Giants quarterback situation going to play out? Is it going to be like Russ to start out and start later on?
Kind of feel like I kind of feel like they're going to throw Russell Wilson out there no matter what. They shouldn't, but I just have a feeling that he's going to get that veteran treatment. But I think Dart starts at the end of the year. Could he go in there and beat out everybody in camp? Could he just go out there and be the guy? It's certainly possible, but I think it's going to take some time. I think that there's too much veteran leadership for the Giants to be confused about to be going to a rookie. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't go Dart. I would have Winston on the roster. I wouldn't have brought in Russell. And quite frankly, I would have drafted Shedeur as well, because that's how I roll. I don't care. If Dart can't handle it, Dart's not the guy. If Shedeur can't handle it, Shedeur's not the guy. I would have drafted both of them. I wouldn't mess around with Russell Wilson or even Winston at that point. But Winston could be the backup. But I don't think the Giants are that smart. I think the Giants are they're also, I think, realizing they're not a playoff team yet, and they still might want to take a little bit of a little itty bitty dive to get a better draft selection for next year, and then come out swinging in 2026. But I don't know. Tough to say. I'd say, let's say late in the double-digit weeks.
Yeah, that's well.
But neighbors to the moon. Neighbors to the moon.
You think that's going to work with neighbors later in the year with Dart? He hasn't looked quite the previous part of the year.
I think they'll be fine. I think Neighbors is quarterback proof. I think if Dart goes in there, he's going to go in there because they know he's ready and he's going to be better than all the quarterbacks before him. So Neighbors should have a great year. No matter what, Neighbors is protected. The only thing that could happen to Neighbors is he has such bad quarterback play for like a game that when they replace Russell Wilson or something, that he has some inconsistency during the turnover, but he might not. I mean, he still might catch 10 balls for 150 yards during the game that the disaster unfolds, Hard to know. I just think Neighbors is quarterback proof. He's got 3 QBs. Couldn't be in a better spot, really. So 3 QBs is awesome. 3 QBs puts him in a very safe territory. Do I love Wilson aspect. Do I love that Wilson might start it off? He's the lead dog in the relay, the 3-man relay. I know I'm not excited about it, but I think the finish will be strong. And Neighbors could still survive even with Russell Wilson. I just don't want Russell throwing him hospital balls all year. But Russell can throw a moon ball and Neighbors can catch a moon ball, so we're probably okay.
Pretty much, yep.
All right, my boy. I'll see you tonight. We'll be back to draft. Appreciate you.
All right. Enjoy.
All right, Gump, final thoughts. Oh, Travis, I hung up on you when... My bad. Travis, call back in. Gump, final thoughts.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Smitty show. And I'll tell you what. Get freaking in. And he's going to ball out. Yeah, that's right. You guys want to pick him up right now. Get the Kincaid. What in there?
Is
you do the implication? What is going on with it?
Was that a recording of me?
So that was my.
Was that? Did you? I don't understand, Gump. You said you were going to do an impression of me, but all you did was play a clip of me talking.
No, that was me.
No, it wasn't. That was a clip of me talking. You just played it. There's no way. That was too realistic. Do it again. Do it again. I don't believe that was really you. That sounded like exact. I thought you were just playing an old show. Go ahead and try it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Do it again.
Okay. You ready? Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if this is.
You better stop. Oh, you better stop. You got 2 X's. You got 2 X's. I'm gonna get Tyree. Don't you understand? Don't you understand? It was two rounds and a swat. Do you understand? Three. Like that?
Gump, I'm floored. Have you taken acting? Yeah, I thought you were literally replaying last night's show. I didn't even know that was you. Unbelievable, Gump. Unbelievable. Standing ovation. I'm standing right now giving you a standing ovation. Okay, Gump, any final thoughts? Great job.
Listen, I need freaking some tight end sleeper dudes to show up on your show.
Pause.
Get them to me quickly.
Okay, thanks, Gump. We'll see you. We'll see you tonight, pal. Appreciate you.
We'll see. Give us something.
We'll see you tonight.
Smitty.
Okay, we'll see you tonight. I gotta go. Here's my Gump impression. Oh man, that was identically. I thought it was an identical twin. All right, Travis, any final thoughts? He nailed it.
Actually, in the chat, say what happens to Tank Bigsby. What do you think happens to that? Shooting there now.
Yeah, I mean, Tootin definitely complicates it a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, is Tootin just Corum, for this backfield, or because everyone likes Corum, everybody likes Tootin. I like Tootin, but Tootin needs to go somewhere solo to develop and everything. So, like, Tootin as a third back, I think maybe he gets that Corum hype and then that Corum result. At the end of the day, Bigsby is a running back that ranks in so many categories as a top 5 guy based on his performances, and I really do believe that Bigsby gets into the lineup at some point and kind of is this year's Bucky in some respect. He costs you nothing. The Tootin drafting even makes his value go down a touch in some circles. I really think Bigsby is the best version of Bucky. When we talk about Bucky, like, is Harvey the next Bucky? I struggle with comparing that, even though that's what everybody wants to go to. And honestly, it's a pretty good comparison, just because you're talking about Harvey going in like the 7.89 versus the 2.6 or 7, because Bucky was a 2.6, 2.7 rookie draft selection. They're a little bit far apart, but it doesn't mean we can't still say it's a rags to riches player. Could Harvey at 1.7, 1.8, 1.9? Some people are getting him at 2.1. So could he outperform that ADP so much that he feels like the Bucky, sure. So I'm definitely okay with talking about Bucky, Harvey being Bucky 2.0. But if we're really going to get into it and try and identify that player that people have on waivers almost, or the last pick in their draft, or 11th rounder or 10th rounder, Bigsby's the guy that feels like he's got that rags to riches. You know, I'm still, I don't know that I'm drafting ETN much right now because of Tootin, but I guess it depends on how far he falls, because then I could get back in. But I think I'm doing a lot of standalone Bigsby drafting, and that's pretty much it. I'll take Tootin and cuff him to Bigsby, though, if it's like end of the draft.
That's what I was thinking.
Depends on the size of your league. You know, like if you got only 5 running back spots, you can't do that.
Real quick, I was just going to do you think no matter what, Browns won't start, Shador to start the season? They didn't take them early.
Yeah.
You know, it's running away. They'll just start flapping the rest.
Unfortunately, the feeling I have right now is that this kid's going to continue. It might even get worse for him. It's so wild to me. I don't think they give him a starting. I think he could go earn it, but they're not giving it to him. He's going to have to go out there. Injury could happen. They could find out that Gabriel's not good real quickly. And then it comes down to, like, I don't think he starts week 1 unless something crazy happens. He should, but he won't.
Right, because with Flacco, they can just say, well, we're going to go with a veteran.
Yeah.
See what happens. They'll wrench that excuse in.
All right, my boy. I'll see you tonight.
Yep.
All right, later. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you for any gifted memberships that came in. Bryson, super chat. Matt, super chat. Thomas, Navage, Andy, BBQ, Maximum. I'm sorry I didn't get to your super chats as quickly. I promise you I will get better now that the season's getting into super chat mode, that I'll answer them as fast as I can. Ball Street, Maximum, McFarland, BBQ, CD, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody dropping super chat goodness on the screen. We'll be back tonight to draft Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Rice to the moon, Worthy to the moon, Mahomes to the moon. Make sure you don't get fooled by this Hampton photo. Doesn't mean I'm not liking Hampton. It's just I want to make sure everybody's informed and aware that this is not a real photo that's going around, and ESPN even got tricked. It's just crazy to me that people are getting like, AI is tough, man. AI is so tough to know what's what anymore. This is the real photo of Harbaugh towering over Hampton. So you got to be real careful. He's a big guy. I still think, Hampton's 6 foot even, 18 to 220 pounds. Harbaugh is 6'4", 6'5". It's just ridiculous what people are peddling out there. And the fact that ESPN didn't know the difference is wild to me. Just crazy. Doesn't mean Hampton's a lesser player. I just want to make sure everyone doesn't think they're getting Derrick Henry. All right, see you all later. Appreciate you. Go Harvey. Go Supernovas, baby.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas. I'm looking at the 8 supernovas.
Look at Harvey. Look at him. Look at him.
Magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Hi, I'm worried William, and my mommy just warmed me up a hot pocket, and I've never even talked to a hot. Hey, I'm Dom, and I drive fast cars, get hot chicks, and draft Ashton Genty double fist style with 2 cell phones at the same time. Why do I have 2 cell phones? One for looking up Ashton Genty stats all day, the other is for getting chicks.
Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's what this show is right here. We're additionally live whenever big news breaks, and we're additionally live most midnights Eastern for the Graveyard After Dark show. And we might do an ADP show tonight right before we draft. Appreciate you. See you tonight. And don't forget, Underdog promo code Smitty. Here's the link one more time so that you can draft tonight with us. Hit the link now. Sign up now. $10 minimum. And you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus credit in your account, depending on what you deposit. So go on over to Underdog. Here is that link, or here's that page right here. But the link is dropped in the live chat. It should be pinned in the live chat right now. So I'll see you all over on here on the YouTube channel and on Underdog tonight. Just make sure you're signed up ahead of time. See you all tonight for a draft and ADP show. Deuces. Promo code Smitty. Yes, Phil. Thank you.